Hi, and welcome to the Wings of Justice. My name is Gilberto Falcon, and today I wanted to talk to you about something different, something that I haven't covered. What happens if you're in a car accident, but this time you're the passenger, not the driver? What are your rights and what can you do about it? Well, that's going to depend on whose fault it was, and also whether or not you were in a private or in a commercial vehicle. And by commercial vehicle, I mean an Uber, Lyft, taxi, or bus. But let's go to the first scenario and the most basic one. Okay, you're traveling with a friend of yours, and there's another vehicle that runs the red light, and you end up in a car accident, and you end up with injuries or perhaps at the hospital. What can you do about it? Well, common sense dictates that you're going to be able to make a claim against the responsible party's insurance, right? Because that person was at fault, and you can recover damages for pain and suffering, mental anguish, lost wages, your medical expenses, and all of those things. You can make a claim against the responsible party's insurance. Now, scenario number two, what happens if it was your friends, the one who ran the light, and it's his fault, and you end up at the hospital? You end up in a collision. You end up with some medical expenses. Who's responsible for that? Can you make a claim against your friend's insurance? And the answer is yes, you can. What are you entitled to? You're entitled to the same damages. Even though you were just a passenger in that vehicle and it was your friend's fault, you can recover the same damages that you would as if it was the other vehicle's fault. You can recover lost wages, your medical expenses, your pain and suffering, mental anguish, all of those things. Now, for the last scenario, what happens if you're a passenger in an Uber or Lyft or a taxi or any of those commercial vehicles? Well, one of the things to remember is that all of those drivers that are driving for pay, they're held to a higher standard, okay? And that means that they owe you a higher obligation to be a safer driver out there than just a regular person. And again, going back to the first scenario where you're traveling as a passenger and it is somebody else's fault and you end up in an accident, what can you do about it? Well, you can definitely make a claim against the other person, the person who was at fault, the person that colliding into you guys, and the driver of the Uber may also be able to make a claim against that person. But let's go back to the same scenario. The Uber driver is at fault. What can you do? Who can you make a claim against? Well, you can make a claim against his insurance, okay, because it was that driver's fault. And you may be able to also make a claim against the company. Because they hired an incompetent driver, okay? And because of that, you ended up at the hospital with medical expenses or with pain and suffering. And of course, you may be able to recover all of those damages from both of them, because either from the driver, from the insurance, or perhaps from the company, because you ended up with medical expenses and you were hurt. Just wanted to remind everybody that simply because you're a passenger, that doesn't mean that you don't have any rights. If you're a passenger, you have the same rights as anybody else, and you can make a claim against the responsible person. Typically, if you're a passenger and if you're involved in a car accident, it is very likely that you can make a claim against somebody, either the other vehicle's driver or perhaps the driver that you're with. The only thing that you're doing in a vehicle is you're being in a passenger, and if somebody is negligent and you're hurt because of that, you can definitely make a claim against them. So if you're a passenger and you find yourself in a car accident, please don't hesitate. Call us at 956-487-6363, or you can call us at 956-627-0159. That's our McAllen office. And the most convenient for you, I would think, is you can send us a direct message through our social media pages. And for once more, this is Gilberto Falcon, and thank you so much.